Hey everybody, this is the first episode of the Work in Progress podcast. I'm Dale.
I'm Tubbs.
I'm Rachel.
And together we are the Wild Stallion. No.
The Wild Stallion?
the
Wild and crazy.
No, I was going to say Wild Stallion. It's like Bill and Ted, but never mind.
I like it. Some wild and crazy guys is what I thought you were going to go with.
So,
the purpose of the podcast. Well, it's the first one, so we're going to mess up probably a little bit.
a lot.
Stay with us, please.
Maybe.
But we'll start with a bit of an intro about ourselves and kind of what we want to do with this podcast. So, we are a group of... I guess we're a group. Are we a group?
We're a society of people.
We're a society of three. But we are all artists and creators and
Makers
and open-minded people. We like to talk about a lot of crazy stuff. Okay, so Tubbs is closed-minded. He made a face when I said open-minded. So basically, we just want to cover a bunch of topics and talk about our opinions about it and how it may influence our creative processes and pretty much
Ourselves personally.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, we'll talk a lot of personable stuff about Tubbs.
no, you were saying how it affects how stuff affects our creative process, but also how it affects us.
Yeah,
And how our
absolutely.
creative process affects us.
Ooh,
Third
I like
dimension,
that.
Third dimension shit right there. We're in the art room of Tecnicus Studios. A lovely red and black room. I just wanted to share that because it's a lovely red and black room.
I thought you were going to keep describing it.
There's old-timey lights surrounding a bunch of your latest paintings.
To me, it's been described as inspiring.
Inspiring.
This is the inside of my brain. So,
It's inspiring.
pretty much it.
Why is there a smoke detector on the inside of your brain? I'm just saying, just
Yeah, you know.
observations.
Safety.
So, a little bit about us. Me, this is Dale speaking. I am a sculptor and I guess kind of more recently airbrush on canvas painter, and I am also a photographer. So that's the intro to me. How about you, Rachel?
I am as well a photographer by day, and then
A streetwalker at night.
I pretty much my whole life been involved in art. I went to college, got a bachelor's degree in visual arts, and after that I went to the golf business. Didn't pursue art as much as I am right now, but now I have one of my best friends and I own a business called HSB Woodworks, where we make custom things from wood for people, whether it's cutting boards or bed frames or countertops. But yeah, that's the road I'm on right now, and having a great time. Tubbs?
What about you, Tubbs?
I am Tubbs, speaking.
With a Z.
T-U-B with a Z. I wouldn't say restore because I don't restore stuff to the way it was. I like fixing stuff and putting stuff back together in different and interesting ways. I like working on stuff.
Like my heart.
Oh, yes, exactly like your heart. I am recently not so super dedicated, but trying to do a little bit of blacksmithing to learn how to work metal. I like working with wood and old furniture that's all messed up. That's about all I do. I listen to music
You sing karaoke.
when I'm really drunk. I do those things, yes.
Look at Kurt. It's okay.
But that's us.
That's the I was going to say tip of the iceberg, but that sounds kind of...
No, that is all of us. Just that's all we are.
That's completely it.
Just exactly what we
We
are.
are rafts on the water. There's no iceberg to this. Nothing below the surface. So, basically, I think one of the things we want to do with this podcast, like I said before, is just bring up as many interesting topics as we can and kind of spill our brains on it, and also talk about how it influences and affects us. And
Also, we have an email set up, so if you guys have any suggestions or topics you would like to hear discussed, it is what.
I have no idea what it is, but
Crap.
I will put the link in the video.
Ooh, look at you.
As one of the people that's more prepared for the podcast, it is artistwipp@gmail.com. artistwipp@gmail.com.
Thanks, Tubbs.
You're welcome. Also, adding to what we want out of the podcast, our conversations, like most conversations, kind of revolve around what's happening to you, around you, and the stuff you do. And one of the reasons Dale approached me about the podcast that I kind of liked is we do have interesting conversations, excuse me, about our personal stuff, but also some of the projects we're working on, and they branch out in really crazy and interesting ways. So when Dale brought up doing the podcast, it's one of the things that I really thought would be cool, because one of the things I like about podcasts is, one, the banter, and two, how the ones I like the most tend to not necessarily stick to a specific script, but kind of flow with whatever idea is going. And I'm pretty notorious for never finishing on a topic that I start. So that's what really appealed to me as far as being able to talk to people on a podcast level scale.
So, since we're going to try to think of a topic, I just came up with an idea. I wrote down 3 topics on a piece of paper and ripped it up, and we will randomly pick a topic to try to cover because we could not decide on anything.
Very unevenly, he ripped up paper.
Okay.
Awkwardly.
Very creative.
I will
Very
make it-
creatively, she.
You know what? Before you get onto that topic, so
What topic? There's 3 there, and you can't see them.
Yeah.
So before we jump onto that, toilet paper,
I do not.
over or under?
Under.
It needs to be hanging over the top.
So over?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I'm an over person too.
Yeah.
They say most artistic people are under. So you're out, Dale. Get rid of the room.
I'll try harder.
Guess I'm the only artist.
So why would you do it? So you have to. You're under it.
To me, it makes sense
because you
too.
pull it out and then you fold it in your hands.
No, because I don't. To me, it makes sense to pull
It's
down.
both ways.
Yeah, but
does.
it seems off balanced when it's over.
See, I feel like you're smashing your knuckles on the wall trying to find that last piece to try to rip at it.
Get to it.
But then sometimes you can just
It's like you're tickling somebody's balls to get to that last little piece in the back.
yeah.
I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I don't care for that. I don't care for that. So whenever I find somebody that does that, I flip it the other way just to make them mad. Because they notice, and you wouldn't think they would, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Oddly polarizing.
Interesting.
Well,
'Cause it
since
bothers me
I
when
don't
it's
worry
under.
about
Don't ever
balls,
invite me into your apartment. 'Cause I'll go up there and flip that piece over without question.
that's fine. I'll just flip it around and leave. So
That's right, the
topics.
topic. I just, right now when you said that, I was like,
Interesting. Well, we don't have to pick yet. We can keep monologuing or segueing.
Monologue is only one person talking.
Oh,
Riffing,
multi-logging.
doing bits.
We're multi-logging.
Doing bits. On the polarizing front, Mayo or Miracle Whip?
Mayo.
Neither.
Oh yeah, he
Oh.
hates it.
Mayo.
Yeah.
I was watching a YouTube video, and it's Kyle Kinane is talking about it, and he's saying, I don't know why people hate Miracle Whip so much. It's just mayonnaise with zest. And it is, but it says dressing on it, and I don't fucks with dressing on my sandwiches. I do mayo.
Which is the one made with eggs? Are they both?
They're both made with eggs.
Oh.
One's just, I may be wrong. Let's look that up.
I love
Let's see
eggs.
me on
I love
Miracle Whip.
eggs. I hard boil eggs, and I scramble eggs, and I eat eggs. But I don't want them in paste form.
It's not paste, it's oil. They have egg whites in them, but it's just spun oil and egg whites.
Huh.
I'm not joking. That's exactly how you make it.
That is
Don't say disgusting. It's not disgusting.
unappetizing.
Anyways.
Although Kraft keeps Miracle Whip's exact oil content a secret, the company confirms that it is too low to meet the Mayo standard. What makes it different, while it contains mayo's ingredients, egg, soybean oil, vinegar, and water, Miracle sets itself apart with a sweet, spicy flavor that some folks prefer. So there you go. Same shite, a little bit of sweetness, a little bit spicy.
It's too different for me.
It's too different.
Not pretty open-minded.
Not in my bear.
I can't do it.
I don't mind it if I don't know what's in some stuff.
If it's a very thin, like they just waved it over, then I could do it.
There's some salad, like the salad that use Miracle Whip.
Yeah, I can't even do that.
It doesn't bother me when it's that, but in a sandwich, I like mayo, and I don't like mayo. Like, I think it's weird. Like, I shouldn't say weird. I don't like it when people spoon it onto the bread and then just kind of spread it. It's butter or butter knife, and then just wipe it off, basically. Just a thin comfort sheet.
Yeah, if it's a chicken sandwich, like made from chicken breast, because to me, chicken is too dry.
Yes.
So I need a
Love
bunch
breasts, do not like them on chickens.
Okay.
That's how I feel about life.
I need a bunch of mayo to kind of balance out the dryness of the chicken. So I'm one of those people that will spoon it.
Yeah, I think it's the mayo itself is overpowered. Which I saw a really funny thing to do to people is empty a mayo jar, clean it out really well,
and then throw it in the trash.
No, fill it full of vanilla pudding, and just open it up and spoon it out of the mayo jar. Try that one day.
You'd be throwing up.
Yeah, I would have that sour.
You'd probably slap
face.
it out of your hand.
I have a bad
But
habit.
on the other hand, if I happen to eat mayo out of the jar and it was vanilla pudding, I would be pleasantly surprised.
I would put it on a sandwich though.
I probably would.
Okay. Well,
just out of celebration that it's not mayo.
Fair enough. I don't know. That's because I like it. I know they use mayo for a lot of the salads, like salads and stuff. When they use Miracle Whip, When they use too much mayo, I'm like, come on, man. There's supposed to be other stuff in here. Which I don't know why they call it salads. There should be another name for shit that's covered in grease.
What would you call it?
I don't know. That's a good question. Let's think on that one. What would I call everything that's not healthy a salad that everybody calls? Like fruit salad. I would think if you said fruit salad knowing what you know about a regular green salad, you would say that's probably a bunch of fruit. No, it's a bunch of fruit with a shitload of whipped topping. That's just trying to figure out how to make fat people fatter. Trust me, I'm all about that life goal, but that's not a salad.
Interesting. So,
what's in this little pile?
This is a pile. That was probably really loud. I just hit the table. The microphone was on. I just wrote down 3 topics that we had kind of brought up as possible topics.
So who's picking?
Either we could pick from this pile, or we could all make one each, and then...
Let's start with this.
Oh, yeah, I like your pile.
Okay.
I like the Wolverine situation.
Alright.
I don't feel like Dale should be allowed to pick.
Drum roll. Okay, that's fine. No, well, it's... Oh. Or we could pick all 3. I was saying we could pick 1 out of the 3, but that's fine.
We could talk about each one.
Oh, I like this one. I wrote it.
Oh,
I
okay.
like that one too. What'd you get, Dale?
I got music.
They all say sex. Music. I like music. All things music, and that's not true.
I can bore
Music sucks.
so many people talking about music.
I know. Firsthand. No.
What'd you get, Tubbs?
I got paranormal.
Ooh.
What'd you get, Rachel?
I got dreams.
Dreams? Dreams.
Don't judge my dreams.
I'm not judging your dreams. I'm just judging dreams in general. No, on the which one do you talk about?
Let's talk about music.
Oh boy. Remember I just said I could bore people with that?
I like music. Okay, what's the last 5 songs you listened to?
I was listening to all 11 albums by Zayo on shuffle.
That's more than 5 songs.
I don't know what's the name of the songs where I told you I'm horrible at naming songs.
On my iTunes.
Do you listen to music when you create?
Always.
Do you get inspiration from it, or is it
I
more
wouldn't
like
say that I necessarily get inspiration from the music. I usually choose music based on what I'm creating. So if I think the music that I'm listening to or the music that I pick will help steer my art project in the right direction, then I'll listen to it. So I listen to a very wide range of music, but I'd say the top two that I listen to the most would be classical and death metal.
So
And I say death metal very broadly.
I use music, like when I'm creating, I'll use music as like a tool to get myself more into the non-resistant state, as far as like, or like a meditative state, or just where I'm one with whatever I'm creating. And so that's how I use music. It could be anywhere from like electronic music to
So do you have a stereo, like a really loud stereo in your woodworking shop, or do you have headphones in?
I actually bought Bluetooth hearing protection. It has little antennas, so
That'd be nice.
That
Yeah.
sounds nice.
So, but sometimes I'll put Netflix on and I'll listen to Supernatural, because I feel like I can listen to the show now without
Yeah.
watching it. It's kind of weird.
I know them well enough that I know what their facial
Yeah,
expressions are.
it's kind of, so
I know that
they're
feeling.
kind of saying the same thing right now, so I kind of get it. But as far as like the music, it varies. It just depends on my mood, or like with you, what I'm creating. But yeah, there's it's definitely a tool to get in that state of creating.
Yeah. Like more recently, I don't remember what project it was I was working on, but I found some Ukrainian folk music that was
Oh, that's cool.
it's from a band called Folknery, and they've got some pretty awesome songs, and it was definitely what I needed to hear at the time of working on whatever it was I was working on. I wish I could remember it, but it was something in this room.
Do you listen to music when you create, or when you make stuff?
It depends on what I'm doing, because if it's something that's gonna, if it's something that I have to pay attention, like specific measurements. Well, actually, it varies, because it's either music, an audiobook, or a podcast. And on the music front, if it's something like the 4 or 5 times I turn on the Forge, if you can listen to something that has a really heavy beat, it's good because you can follow that beat while you're working. The only thing that sucks is you're not doing it for the 2 minutes or 3 or 4 minutes, whatever the song is. So if you can kind of keep like a high, not intensity, but something that keeps moving, whether it's metal or hip hop or something that has that kind of keeps going, it's pretty useful. But when I'm usually when I'm doing like fine work or sanding, or if I'm using anything where I'm sitting down doing it, musical work or a podcast, if I don't have to get something exactly, or if I'm working towards a goal but not necessarily doing the fine tuning on it, a podcast or music is fine. But if I'm
It's just my opinion, but you should listen to metal while blacksmithing. It just makes sense.
that was punny. I never actually considered that. I should have done that.
I just single-handedly destroyed this podcast before it even started.
No, I just thought of why I didn't think of that myself. That baby metal on there.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm gonna start making katanas. That's gonna be weird.
For me, that's kind of the way my brain goes as far as listening to music and creating. Is if I think I have something that'll go with what I'm making, then
I guess it also. We were having a conversation before we started recording, where Rachel was asking how you create, and I don't create like I was saying. I normally start off with something that needs to get fixed or that's broken. But on the times I do start from scratch, I have an end goal in mind. How I get to that goal doesn't bother me. Like, for example, if I have to make a box, like this is a box that's going to hold paints, or the small paints used with airbrush and stuff. You have to make a box that does that. All it has to be is the sides that close. What I have available to me, what I'm like, if I'm inspired to go buy some wood because I want it to look a certain way.
People drop off stuff.
People drop stuff off my house all the time. When stuff like that, how I get there is not really, like, what I used to get to that point doesn't super heavily, like, I draw it out or I think it out. Most of the time it's, what do I have in front of me, how can I put it together? So, I'm so random. No, it's normally that's how it comes. It's just when I look at it in front of me and I try to map what I have, and then put it together into what I need. And that's where that comes from. Even some occasions, like some of the stuff I've done where like a dresser or something will have a messed up something, and I'll have a sheet of veneer, so I'm like, well, you know what?
So
Maybe it's a two-tone piece of wood.
So is it more of a technical process for you than inspirational?
I don't know.
Oh.
Those are big words. I don't know. Because it's also never the same.
Well, do you spend more time planning it out than getting into
No.
Okay.
Not even a little bit. I mostly, I guess my wife told me this.
Do you look at more function versus form?
On some stuff, yeah. If it's structural, yeah. I'm a very big dude. Whenever I make stuff, I stand on it or sit on it to make sure it's not going to, if it's something that's going to support weight, because I weigh upwards of 300 pounds. And I'm 6'2". So, like, when I'm in my son's changing table, I'm a huge bit. Anyway, when I'm in my son's changing table, it has legs on top with like another beam going. The baby is never going to weigh enough to break like that. But I sat on it anyway. I sat on it, I rolled around it and tried to move it, and it was 3.5 feet wide by probably 2 and change feet deep, maybe 3 feet deep. It was a good size. The adult never needs to sit on a child's changing table, but I liked that I could if I wanted to. It was also really pretty because my wife picked how she wanted it to look, and she said, well, the reason I made it, which is how I start most of the dumb stuff I do, is she was like, I want this. And I was like, it was a reclaimed wood changing table that was like $500 or $600. And I was like, that's reclaimed studs. She's like, yeah. I'm like, the new studs are $3. Why are they, whatever the case is, I mean, different artists do it for different reasons. And I mean, that's one of the things I've noticed after having made stuff is that sometimes the stuff I used to say that should cost a lot, or that's really expensive. Well, that's a certain style that person does it in, and maybe they use a specific type of wood from a specific region, or maybe they have a process that does it completely differently. And yeah, sometimes you can get the same result doing two different things, but knowing that somebody did it by hand is what it's worth to you.
Yeah.
At the time, it wasn't because we were having a child. So I went and got studs and I made it, and she really liked the way it looked. And it looked, I'm not going to say similar to what she showed me, but in the style of what she showed me. And she was really happy with it, and that's how I brought it together. Was just, this is what needs to happen. How can I get to this point? And I always draw stuff out, but it's technical to the extent of overall height and the weird little cuts you have to make to kind of supplement how you make one cut to add up to another cut, so it's all stuff like that I do, yeah. But as far as saying technically like this goes in, I don't do that. This is what it's supposed to look like. These are the dimensions. If it's anything weird that I think is going to come up later, I try to map that out to begin with. That way when I get to that point, it's already in my head and I could just jump to the next step. But besides that, no, not really. I don't. Like, I'm going to make, like with the blacksmithing, I'm going to make this knife, and I think it took me 2 or 3 weekends to get the knife to where I wanted it. But it was just a sketch, and I knew that this is what I want it to look like. This is my template, but that's not exactly what the cutout's going to look like. It's going to look however it looks when I'm getting to that point.
Yeah. That's how, when I was designing cutting boards, like on my little tablet thing, whatever it's called, from the 1950s, I would design a basic sketch just to see.
Hold on, tablet from the 1950s.
Yeah, I was going to say, either you're being sarcastic about your tablet, or you actually have a tablet that's from the
I'm old enough that tablet shouldn't only mean one thing to me, but
it's a bit aged, but
it is literally a chalkboard, but like the actual chalkboard.
Gotcha. Okay.
But no, I freaking love it.
It's not an iPad from the 50s.
No.
Okay, I got that clear. Okay, sorry.
But anyway, so like when I design the cutting boards on there, I think of a concept of like, okay, this is what the customer does for their free time or what their passion is. And I'll design it based on that. Now, just because, if I want to do like a gradient look or whatever, and I want to use these type of woods, when I go to look and see what wood we have in stock, well, just because I'm going to say I'm going to use hickory, in a very specific way, doesn't mean when I cut into it, it's going to look specifically that way. So make adjustments from there. And I think that's part of like, okay, even though you have this idea in your head, you have to learn how to also make adjustments on the fly or go with what you have on hand and just trust that it's going to, the concept or the idea is going to, well, for me, I know it's going to work out 10 times better than how I designed it. And that's usually how things have gone for me. So
what does a board look like if I said I was a porn star? Like, I want you to make this amazing cutting board. Also, I'm a porn star.
I could go so many ways with that.
No, I saw the wolf one. I saw the one you made for one of the guys we work with, the huge one.
Wait, what?
The wolf one?
The moon. Oh, it was the moon.
Oh, the owl?
Yeah, it was an owl.
Yeah.
You know, one of those things on shirts with the moon.
All I heard.
An owl or wolf.
You said that guy we work with the huge one.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the one I made a while back ago for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's a huge penis. No, it was the cutting board. The cutting board set in like on a tailgate. Okay. That's how big the cutting board is. Huge.
It was humongous.
The cutting board was,
wow.
Not the person.
Yeah. Okay.
But he told
me. Or
his
genitalia. Just probably average. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and assume.
But I know you. So what you could have been talking about on both ways.
That's true. I feel like I should be offended by that, but I'm not.
No offense.
It's too late for that now.
Okay. Yeah, some offense. Some offense.
Some. But it was really big. Mm-hmm. The cutting board was very big. And I've also seen some you made for people where you maybe incorporate their names, or maybe they ask you to do that. I don't know. I just saw the end product. So I was wondering if that's what you're referring to, or is it... I don't... Without sounding completely douchey or cheesy, is it trying to tell a story with the wood as to them?
It's more trying to tell a story of them with the wood. Is that what you're trying to...
I feel like that's what I said, but backwards.
Right. But to me, that's the why the boards look the way they do. It's because we are doing something very specific. To me, it's still art. And that's how I see the designs, because they're very unique. Because otherwise, we could sit there and make 10 cutting boards look the same. But to me, I enjoy the creative process and incorporating a part of the person into the board and make it unique and specific to them. Because it's fun. It's fun for us. I know
we all have jobs, like 9-to-5 type jobs.
Well,
Nope, you know what I mean. Would you afford at the time, or if like you quit completely working and did only woodworking, would you make boards like that where you made kind of cookie cutter boards?
No, I wouldn't. They would still be artistic.
I think I would go cookie cutter for at least a run of them.
Really?
I'm all about that money.
There's another one of my pet peeves.
What's that stuff look exactly the same? People that are all about the money.
When I see artists that they come up with something,
You really care.
and I'll go ahead and start this by saying I'm probably completely wrong, but this is just my opinion and how I judge people when I see them.
You should. I think everybody should.
Okay.
That's why we're still alive.
I've seen it happen a lot, like either whether it's on Instagram or Etsy or Facebook or whatever. When an artist creates something and they get a group of people to say, "Oh, that is so awesome," they immediately think that everybody's going to want that, so they stop their complete creative process and just focus all their energy for the next 5-6 months on overproducing that one thing. They try to go into mass production so they can try to make as much money. And
oh no, I wasn't referring to that. I'm not going to remember his name right now, but he's an amazing. He's really penman, Jake something. I should look him up because the guy's amazing. Check him out on Instagram. His name is Jake Weidman.
Yeah, he does the
Weidman.
Yeah,
he does reproductions of some of his paintings. His art. And I think it's really beautiful. I couldn't afford the original one.
Yeah.
But I would buy one of the reproductions because I think it's. I don't know that he actually spends time to remake those.
Well, I think that's a little different.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you got to the point where somebody said, "Hey, I like this board.
Yeah.
Can you make me another one just like this?" Would you be like, "No, I don't do that"? It's kind of.
We've been asked to do that before, and I've told the customer in the past, like, well, I'm going to change it up a little bit because to make it.
Rachel don't fucks with that.
No,
We can cut.
to make it unique. to make it unique. I mean, the concept is still the same, but it's not going to look exactly the same.
Yeah.
To me. But I also think too, like you can take something and you can like focus all your time on that, and you can have, okay, say like I have one specific design of a cutting board. Okay, and if I focus on that layout or that look, I can change up how I lay out the wood or the different types of wood and figure out 5 different ways of getting the same look. And to me, you can still kind of create a unique or a piece of artwork from that. And I've seen artists in the past where they have one specific thing that they are going to create an installation, or they're I don't know what's the word I'm trying to think of. Like say you have one
Trademark?
No, not so much trademark.
They try to remake the One Hit Wonder.
No, it's okay.
Say
Say like
That's how I see it. Yeah.
well, say like that skull you have sitting up there. You can you could figure out like
It's literally a remake.
20 different ways to design a skull, either with different colors or whatever. But the concept is a skull, but you find different ways, and I think to me that's like a study in the object, or a study in the thing, finding different ways to portray that or how you see it. And to me that's still art. A study in that.
Do you think it ceases to be art when it is mass produced? Do you think that cheapens it? I kind of feel that it does, but at the same time,
I'm on a 50-50, because, for example, both you make cutting boards and you make sculptures. Let's say, for example, somebody loved one of your sculptures, and they said, I really want it, and you said, well, I only have one, and for whatever reason, this like the Kraken you have, this one means a lot to me. Can you reproduce that? Because I genuinely, very much enjoyed that. And that piece,
I've had those requests, and I've said no. Like, oh, can you make me one? No, I already made it. I don't want to make another one. If I had made it with the intention of maybe molding and casting 10 copies, so either I could paint them all differently and then sell them that way, or if I could sell them so other people can paint them.
See, I think maybe I look at it a little bit differently, because even though I make the money joke, realistically, I feel like if I made something that was original from scratch, and somebody said, hey, I really like that, how much is that? And I said, well, just as an example, whatever it is I made, because I can't make crap, but let's say it was $3,000. This is what it cost me to make it, $3,000. And they said, I can't afford that. Is there any way you can make it cheaper? What do you like about it? I like the way this is either shaped, or I like the design of it. I can make that, what you're looking for $500. And they said, yes, I think I'd make them, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but if they were ready to make it, that somebody really liked it and said, hey, I'd like something you made in my house. Yeah. Well, I can't give you the one I made because that's mine, or that's really expensive to make, but I can make you one that looks like it. I think is where my head's at. Yeah. I'm not thinking of it in reproducing the art. I'm thinking of it more of like, if somebody said, I genuinely like what you do, can you make me one?
Sure.
Oh, well, I was going to say, for me personally, I don't even know if cynical is the right word. I use that word a lot. It probably doesn't even apply all the time. But I think I have a little more cynical point of view to when people start requesting artwork or paintings, because as an artist growing up, I grew up drawing and then got into sculpting and painting, and there's always people that are going to try to use you and get as much as they can out of you for as cheap as possible. And I think as an artist, I've been too nice in the past and done way too many projects for the wrong people for very, very cheap, and ended up stressing myself out about it. And I think I'm overly cautious and guarding myself that way. It kind of turns me into a dick.
I think I'm not an artist, and it wasn't art. It was redoing furniture. Like I was saying, I do like coffee tables or dressers and stuff. People have asked me to do some stuff, and I don't do it because I tell them, you just want somebody to fix your $500 couch. But if you paid somebody to restore your couch, it would cost you well over $1,200 to do it, because they have to rip the entire thing apart, basically, fix what you broke, repair anything else, and put it all back together so it still works the same. And that's not cheap. That's why you only get really high-end furniture redone that way.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if this is the only thing that's broken, well, if that's the case, tear a big hole in the back, put a piece of wood where the other piece was broken, bracket it in place, and then sew up the hole. Well, that's going to look terrible. Well, then pay the money for somebody to do it right, because you're asking me to basically just do all this extra work for something that's really not worth it. And I know nobody wants to hear that, because everything you have is the best you can buy, but that's where I feel on your front, like, you're just trying to get really cheap work for something that's broken, that's really not worth fixing. On my point, from what I know, what I do.
I think that
So fuck people, but I'm just joking.
I think that when you start doing something, and there are people out there that if they had the time or the money to do it, that they would do it. But you have people that don't either A, have the time to do it, or they don't have the tools to do it, or whatever. So they look for people to do that thing for them. Could everybody build a house if they had time to learn how to do it and everything? Yeah, probably.
No, I don't think so. I think there's too many lazy people.
I disagree.
Well,
I feel like
try to be positive,
you're not
damn it.
cynical enough.
God, all these Debbie Downers. But
Sorry, Rick.
but when we start doing things, as like your blacksmithing or whatever, or like the cutting boards and the sculpting, like you do have people that come out and say, "Oh, you know what?" They may not say, "I don't have the time or the money."
Can you make me this for $50?
Right, but I've also learned too that from learning how to appreciate and embrace my creative side, and how much I value that, I do set. I know Tracy and I, we do set limitations as far as like how we value our time, because we are putting our time and our love to do it into creating something for people, and it does show. And so I think that, where was I going with this? There was something very profound I was going to say, but now I don't remember. Damn it! I think if you know what you value about yourself and what you create, you won't be afraid to say, "Hey, you know what? I can't do it for this." Maybe if you go check so and so, and which is what I've done before in the past, where I'm like, "Hey, either I don't have the time to do it, or it's not my thing." It's not.
I don't like you.
Well, no.
Somebody else.
No. If somebody said like, "Hey, can you do this or that on shoes or something, or can you paint like graffiti style stuff in somebody's room, with their name?" I'm like, well, that's not. I haven't either done that before, or it's not my style, or what I'm trying to say. So if you're upfront, honest, and you say, "Hey, here's what I can do for you, within this amount of like cost or budget," and if it doesn't match up, it doesn't match up. I don't see it as a negative thing, but it's more of like I'm placing value on my time because I'm putting a part of me into this project, so it's going to be worth something on both ends.
To be kind of a hypocrite on what I just said, there are times where people ask like they need help with something. If I've never done it, but I have an idea or I've worked on stuff like it, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Just because I want to see what it's going to look like or how hard it's going to be. And it's always easier to do it with somebody else's money than with your own. So
Yeah.
I've done that before. That's just something while you were talking about. If I don't know how to do something, and it's something I'm interested in, I'll try it.
Yeah, and that's what, and I've done that before. Like I've never done this before, but I'm not afraid to try it. And if it works out, then it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There is a cat in the room.
Hey, kitty.
All of a sudden,
It is my cat.
everybody
Mussolini.
got ADD.
Squirrel.
Cat.
So,
Which one did you get, Tubbs?
I got paranormal.
So that's where one topic of music takes us off into. Ended up having nothing to do with music, but
It had a lot to do with music. I listen to some music, sometimes I listen to podcasts.
that is true.
I'm on a podcast.
But yeah, cool. I didn't mean to jump in there. So which one did you get, Tubbs?
I got
Paranormal.
paranormal.
This is a good one for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Why is it a good one for me?
We'll tell everybody.
Paranormal. What does paranormal actually mean? What is the etymology of the word paranormal? Let me look that
First, do you believe in ghosts?
up. No.
Okay. Well, this is going to go far.
And that's that. What's the next topic?
No, it's not that I don't believe in ghosts, that I've never seen one. And I know that just because you haven't seen something doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
How do you know you haven't seen them?
They could look like
They're invisible.
people.
Well, if they're invisible, I definitely haven't seen them because they're invisible. Let me look up the definition of paranormal real quick.
Well, while you're looking that up.
Paranormal.
Oh, go ahead. That was fast.
Denoting events, or if you have great Wi-Fi here.
Oh.
Denoting events or phenomena such as telekinesis or clairvoyance that are beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding. Now, and I'm not attacking anybody by any means, but when people say they feel something different, I feel like there might be an explanation. I also think that your mind fills in gaps for stuff. I don't hate or think anybody's stupid for believing that stuff, because usually when I say I don't believe in them, people automatically take, like, well, so I'm full of shit. No, I don't think I believe you saw something. And that's not me being pandering or condescending. That's me genuinely, like, great if you believe you saw it. But I haven't lived through that, so I can't say I believe in something if it hasn't happened to me. I don't believe it. So when people ask me, no, I haven't. Well, have you? I haven't. So you know what I mean? Like I haven't been there, so I don't know what it's like. I thought I was spitting in your cab, but I was spitting in the chair. So it's not to say that's definitely not out there. I haven't experienced it, so I don't believe it.
But do you?
Am I open to it?
Yeah, but
So is it safe to say that paranormal
I can't answer a question you don't ask questions.
things of the paranormal have zero influence or anything on
What I do? No,
what
not
you do
necessarily, because I would
creatively?
love it if zombies existed.
Uh-huh.
But part of me wants to be one of the 25 survivors.
Uh-huh.
There's billions of people on this planet. Statistically, probably not going to be one of those survivors.
Unlikely.
Yeah, so I mean, if it to an extent it's a cool idea, like the zombie things are a cool idea. I think ghosts are a cool idea.
Uh-huh.
I haven't experienced them. I think some people genuinely believe they experience them. I also think some people are full of shit. Me being cynical, I also believe some people are full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Some people take it very spiritually, it's a huge part of something that happened to them, an event in their life. And some people are just dickbags.
Uh-huh.
I saw this ghost. And that's also, Rachel went to some ghost walks, and she invited me, and I said I wouldn't really go to those. Because I feel like knowing that I'd be walking into what could be a ghost walk, my mind would kick into there's ghosts here, you need to see them.
You've been on ghost walks, right? Have you?
yeah,
Rachel?
yeah. I went to one in San Diego, and I went to one here in Yuma. And at that time I was very much into that. There's everything that happens in the house or whatever is explained by paranormal. Like that was where my mind just wrapped around. But where I am right now, like I tell people, like I believe that there's no separation between the spirit world and the physical world. So, so to me, like I'm not as fearful about that anymore. If I hear something that can't be physically explained, then okay, great. Then it is a spirit. There's spirits all around us, so why not? But I'm more open to it in a loving and appreciative way. But yeah, as far as the ghost walks, it kind of does do kind of like a psychological thing where it's like, oh, this house is like uber super haunted,
And I think they count on that because that's how they keep getting people there to make more money.
Yeah, they tell the stories but it at the end of the day it was a fun experience. But did I see a ghost? No. I mean, I think in my mind I made up more ghosts than I actually physically saw.
How many people do you think walked away from that saying they actually saw something?
I honestly I don't know, because I really didn't I didn't ask.
That's also kind of a thing I have with a lot of stuff where it very much attacks the if you have to believe. Well, if I haven't seen one and there's no real proof, no tangible, this is repeatable evidence or this kind of evidence for it, I don't. Mm-hmm. And that bothers people, and they think it's me being negative. I don't. You do. Cool for you. I don't. Mm-hmm. There's not really that. I said I don't know best, but I just don't. If it ever happened to me, I'd be like, dude, this happened for realsies, but it hasn't. So.
Mm-hmm. I also think too, like if you get in your head enough, and like I've told Dale and Tubbs that I do believe that the definition of a belief is something that you tell yourself over and over again. So if somebody says this house over here is super haunted, has so many urban legends about it, and like over the years it gets told, same story or the whatever kind of changes up, well, it's building the energy of it.
They really just have to walk into Dale's art room and be like, yep, haunted, believe it, got it.
So when somebody sees that house and they hear all these urban legends, well, boom. You're going to manifest this belief or this thing that's being told over and over again. But to me, everything's energy. So if the mind is that powerful, which I do believe that you can create things, you can, with enough thought and energy put into it, you can manifest something.
All right. So to take your view on life, how does paranormal the paranormal affect your creative process, or does it?
It does affect me, but not in a ghost sort of way, but it affects me in the sense that when I get...
And it doesn't count that you go, this wood will be a cutting board, I can see.
No,
I can do that.
When I think about like what I want to create or what needs to be created for this customer, I will sit there and I will think about, okay, this is what they like to do, blah, blah. All of a sudden I'll get a flash or an inspiration of it. And to me, that comes from someplace else, whether you want to call it universe or source or God or whatever you want to call. I believe that comes from somewhere else other than my physical being. Because to me, life is about co-creating with your physical self and with the spiritual world. So when I get in that, when I open up my mind to receiving inspiration about what I'm trying to do, to me, that's me tapping into the spiritual world and whatever the great artistic masters or whatever. And like just coming together and saying, okay, we're going to create this. This is going to look amazing. And when it does, to me, like it has always come out freaking awesome. And so to me, that's how the paranormal works. Like I've told Trevor, tattoo artist, amazing guy, Tattoos by Brewer, that when
he's an amazing guy. Also, he's a really great tattoo artist.
That when I'm creating, I feel like it's not just me creating something, it's me and whatever else. So that's how.
So here's a
would you be willing to make me a cutting board out of someone's coffin?
Oh,
I've already worked it out. I can email you the operating hours of the graveyard, and I get in and out real quick. I'm kidding.
Oh, I was going to say, if you want to.
Hey, let's do it.
But I don't know with all the how food safe would be for you.
Just epoxy it. Food safe epoxy?
Right. Seal the death in there.
Very morbid. No, we got... so having said what you said...
what I said.
Do you... Oh, no, that you... the paranormal is just inspiration to somebody else. Do you feel that is... whatever you believe is giving you the inspiration working through you, or do you believe that that's a muse that you pull inspiration from? Those are two different things.
No, I think it's...
I thought you were going to say, no, they're the same thing. Oh.
No, I think that It's not. To me, it's not so much a muse, but I also think muse is a focus point, a focal point for you to get in that state of non-resistance, so you can.
No, that's not the definition, Rachel. We have the definition available, and that's not it.
Well, to me, that's what it is. If you like say like when somebody's meditating, you focus on your breath or you focus on the noise or something.
Oh, you said meditating. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So it's for you to focus your brain or your thoughts to one specific thing, and when you do that, you're opening up your brain
Aura.
or whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's so many different words.
Just say yourself.
Yeah, you're opening up yourself to. The only way I can say it is to co-create with, because.
So it's a collaboration, not so much.
Yes.
Okay. Dale, same question.
How's paranormal?
Does paranormal affect what you do, and if so, how? Do you believe in paranormal?
I'm very open to the possibilities of there being spirits or whatever you want to call them, whether it's ghosts or people stuck in between or however. I'm very open to the possibility of it, but I'm also skeptical. I haven't, as far as I know, there's been some things I can't explain that I've seen, but I kind of leave that in the...
I like the word skeptic. I'm going to take skeptic on that one.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was trying to think of a word that defined it better. And yeah, I guess skeptic would be the best one. I'm sorry.
But I am...
Excuse me.
I am very open to the possibilities of it because I can't prove it doesn't exist, and I can't prove... nobody I know can actually prove to me that it does. So I'd say...
Start believe, bro.
But I'd say there's a good possibility that I like the whole topic because it does help me with my art and stuff, because I mostly sculpt monsters and ghouls and demons and anything that's, I guess, creepy to most people. So I do kind of draw from that whole paranormal, I guess you call it, world or idea.
Plane's a good word.
Okay, there you go.
Plane.
You can say that.
It's a different plane of existence. That's why my head's going with it.
Yeah, I guess you could say because of my art, I probably would like it to be real more than I actually believe that it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish I could pigeonhole your art by saying, like, oh, it's this kind of art, but it's a very diverse... Not topic. Very large range of stuff you do.
Imagine.
Topics. It's not topics. You do a bunch of different stuff. You have a YouTube channel.
Yep, I got the Tecnicus Street Studios YouTube channel. And
You can check his stuff. He has a bunch of stuff. It's not just like the stuff we're talking about here. Art-wise.
yeah. So have we reached the end of paranormal?
I think so.
Think so?
I think we could talk for hours on it.
We probably could. I know, we have before. I mean, this isn't the first time we've all talked about paranormal. We've literally had this conversation multiple times. It always goes a little bit different, but we all, for the most part, seem to stick to the way we view it. Mm-hmm. I'm completely open to change as far as the way I view the whole topic. But
I think that's why we all get along, because we all kind of are
yeah,
open to change.
So
We got one more card.
are we going to cover this last topic?
Yeah.
We hit the first three.
So mine is dreams.
Ugh, never mind. That is
All right, see you guys later. I'm just kidding. I wrote
Dreams.
Since you wrote it, though.
Is that why you were waiting? Like, oh, I guess we'll save that one for last.
Hey, we picked them randomly. Okay.
What do you think dreams are?
I think me. You're asking me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then I'll answer. I think that the way dreams are viewed. Oh, how are they viewed scientifically? They really don't know a whole lot about dreams.
They know people have them.
But my personal opinion is that it's a lot of random events kind of coming back in your thought process and your nerve endings firing in your brain. I think there are a lot of dreams that we have that could possibly reveal things to us that we hadn't consciously thought and more kind of come out in the subconscious while we're sleeping. But I have written down quite a few dreams that I've had to try to turn into short stories, and definitely drawn inspiration for some of my sculptures off of my dreams. How do you guys? What do you guys
I think my beliefs right now, I feel like my opinions and beliefs are always changing, evolving as time goes on. But my belief right now, as far as what dreams are, I think dreams are a representation of what emotional thing that you've been going through, and your brain tries to find images or emotions to translate that so you can relate to it. So like with Dell, like you sculpt monsters and stuff, so if you're going through, like you've been going through a stressful week, that your brain will be like, all right, he can relate to aliens and monsters and stuff, so we're going to incorporate that into his dreams so that he can understand the emotion of the stressful time that he's been going through, to maybe sorry, this cat again. To help you.
My cat just now decided that she didn't like to be petted by Tubbs.
Jeez, Tubbs. So, but that's how I see dreams.
Well, that was
Sorry, the cat interrupted you, Rachel.
It's okay. I'm okay with it.
The cat's not sorry. I just want you guys to know that. I can see your face right now. She doesn't give a shit that just happened.
She's thinking human sacrifice.
Yeah.
What do you think about dreams?
I don't know. I like dreams are weird. Why is my throat? Something in my throat. Sorry. Catch in my throat. So sad. Excuse me.
Stop grooming the cat with your tongue.
Yeah, right. She liked it. I went through a long period of time where I didn't have dreams at all, like years, and I mean a huge portion, because I remember having really bad dreams when I was younger, and I mean like 11, 12, 13, and then they stopped, and they stopped for a really long time. I don't think they picked back up until I was like 25 or 26. But I remember I had a dream, and I was super amazed. I woke up and I told my wife about it, because I got married really young, because that's the way to go. Just joking, I'm super happy. But when I started having dreams again, I listened to Pete Holmes. He has a podcast, and he was talking about being able to kind of, there's a name for it, vivid dreaming, vivid dreams, lucid dreams, where you knew you were in a dream. And I tried so hard to get to that, and I thought maybe I had got, but this goes back to the paranormal thing. Did this actually happen, or is this me thinking this happened because I really wanted it to happen? In the dream, I remember knowing that I was in the dream, and then I woke up, and I looked it up, and what people were saying about it was, if you overexcite yourself, your brain kicks in, so you wake up. Or is it just what happens? I don't know. I just know I tried it a couple times, and one time I was able to, I'm in a dream, and I was going to head to a very hot actress's house. I don't know what's come out. I don't want to get too dated on it. And I woke up. So, I mean, do I hold meaning to dreams? Not really, not so much. My wife says I speak in Spanish when I dream, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But as far as I don't make art, so I don't
you still create.
pull any inspiration from them.
You still create.
I'm sure we've had these conversations before. But have you guys ever had night terrors?
I thought I had night terrors when I was young. Those are the ones I was telling you about, where they were wake me up scary.
Yeah. Well, or sleep paralysis, I guess is.
See, but I don't know if that was the dream or was actually happening.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I wish you can look into that.
Sorry, I yawned and I got
Cool story. Thanks
Evil
for making it
eyes.
so great. I think we were both
Oh, I thought.
thought we were both looking at you like, what's your next
I
one?
wasn't saying anything,
Oh, okay.
and then Tubbs' words were getting more spaced out.
I thought we were tapering towards you because I keep interrupting everybody.
No, okay.
So, or,
You ain't lying.
what do you guys think?
I feel like dreams is a really huge topic.
When I was in high school, I used to dream. Paintings. So when I would go to art class the next day, I would create it based upon what I saw.
The teacher's like, this looks like exactly like Van Gogh's self-portrait. So
It was very abstract. It was very abstract, very Jackson Pollock in a way. I think I said his name right.
don't name drop.
I know.
Don't name drop.
I had a semester of art history and probably ruined his name, but that's how I dreamed in high school, was in colors. And so it was fun for me to dream like that, but I haven't dreamed like that in a while.
You ever tried acid? Acid might help you dream that way. I heard.
No, I know what I used to do before I would go to bed. I would listen to like instrumental type music, and it would get me into a meditative state, and it would, because I was very much into painting or creating at that time, that was my focus. So my meditative state took me into sleep, and because I was so focused on art, that I guess that's another way of receiving inspiration from the universe or source, whatever you want to call it.
Dream collabo?
Yeah, it was like a dream collab. Like, I was very much in a non-resistant state, and so I would take those images that I saw, or see it was kind of like a painting being played out. Like I was sitting there creating it in my dreams, and then go to class, and like I said, I would create it.
So you would
And it was
literally
just-
make your dreams come true?
Yeah. But
Fucking hardcore.
that's how I see my art like now, is that even though I'm not dreaming, but it's still, to me, it's in a way it's a dream. Dreams come true.
Your dreams are weird, Dale.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the reasons I brought up the sleep paralysis is because I know I told you about it before, Rachel, and I don't know if I ever told you, Tuz, but I had, when I would say 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old.
No, we really need the exact year.
Okay,
6 months.
it was,
6 years.
no,
6 years, 8 months, 5 days.
I was laying in bed, and then I remember waking up and not being able to move, and that freaked me out. And I was kind of looking around the room, and then I looked up into the corner of my bedroom, and there was this like kind of black shapeless mass up in the corner. It was kind of like a little cloud, like completely shaded out the corner of the room, and I didn't know what it was, and I couldn't move, and I tried to call my mom, but I couldn't do anything. So I kept trying to...
Depp?
Huh?
Was it Johnny Depp? Black Mass.
Oh.
Never mind, I'm sorry, it was a terrible joke.
But
Try to call your mom.
I had... What?
I was trying to
Go ahead, you can finish.
I was trying to get you back on track. No, let you finish my interruption. Sorry.
No, so as I was trying to call my mom, I couldn't even speak. But it was weird because I remember this shadowy something up in the corner of the room start calling my mom, like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, get her in here, I want to kill her or something. I just remember that, and I often wonder if that experience with a dream or whatever it was shaped my artistic direction now, because I have a very, I guess I have a pretty dark imagination.
I don't know why you want to kill your mom with your art.
I don't want to kill my mom.
Well, the dark Black Mass did.
Huh.
I think this is really what-
That's not exactly what I was trying to say at all.
I was joking.
No, but I had watched some documentaries about sleep paralysis, and a lot of other people described literally, well, quite literally, the exact same scenario. So I was wondering if you guys had ever had sleep paralysis. experience?
I haven't. I could say that, I've had some things that made me want to go, well, that's different. But as far as like sleep paralysis, I haven't had anything like that.
I've heard that sleep paralysis can be a side effect of people that are trying to do lucid dreaming. Like if they
astral planning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where they get into that dream state where they can walk around in their dreams by their own will. But then sometimes people will wake up out of the lucid dream, but they still have those sleep chemicals that don't allow their body to move, and they just get that crazy feeling, and they see shadowy figures in the room, and so.
I wonder if when you get in that state, like, since going back to my statement, like there's no separation between the spirit world and the physical world, that when you get into that lucid or astral planning type, whatever you want to call it, but if you get more connected to that spiritual side and you do start to see that the other world, like the other dimension of that, like I've heard people say there's 11 dimensions or 5 or 6 dimensions. I can't remember, but anyways, there's different dimensions. So like when you get closer to that, I wonder if you're able to see that, if you're able to get onto that frequency. And so I think that, I wonder if as humans or society in general, like when we see something that we can't explain, I think sometimes we automatically jump to it's got to be negative. It's got to be a negative thing. Well, how do you know it's negative? I mean, I think that's a natural thing, or a thing that's been ingrained into us that, well, if it's unnatural or you can't explain it, then it could be negative. Well, it could, but depending on your perception on things or your mindset at the time, if you're in a negative mindset, then you're going to perceive it as negative. But I mean, it could also be something that's positive, and because of your mindset at the time, that you're viewing it as a negative thing. So that's where my thinking goes into that. Is it because you're closer to that dimension that you see those shadows and stuff?
Well, I was thinking right now, and I made that really terrible joke where you saw the black mass. No, like I thought about that while you were describing your art, or you saying, in that natural. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? It's kind of a personal question.
Why do I think what is?
Why do you? Well, you were saying that you think that might have influenced later on the art you make.
I think,
and
it was kind of a traumatic experience to go through at that age. And
the question I have is, do you think it's because it was traumatic enough that I don't know how to say this without sound like an asshole, but
no, sound like an asshole. Do it.
You sound like an asshole anyway. What's the is it because you like that little bit of unknowing fear that it's something that you absolutely most of the time when you're like back to what we were saying with paranormal, when you're in a house, you kind of know what you're experiencing, but that was a point blank, never been in that situation. You knew for a fact you were awake. You couldn't control the situation at all. Was it? I don't know what word to use, but was it the state of mind you were in at the time that you're like that? This is where not necessarily scary, because some of the stuff you do, I mean, honestly, is unnerving, not in a bad because the dolls thing. The dolls are creepy. There's nothing wrong with the dolls, and I think we've talked about it before. It's just a negative, something you put negative on.
Yeah. See, I think that part of with the dolls, for example, they don't creep me out at all, but I know that they do creep other people out, and I don't think I'm not a scene kid, and I'm not trying to collect things to scare people, but I think there's that area of taboo that
that's what
draws
I was saying.
me.
Did you like that little area of scared, or do you think that you tried to, I don't know how to say it without sounding stupid, but submerge yourself in it? So like, well, what happens? How far down this rabbit hole can I go? So if this happens again, am I going to be scared, or am I going to be more curious? I don't know how to word that question correctly.
I think I know what you're saying, and I think there's a possibility in there. Maybe not 100%, but
Because most of the time, if I'm scared of something, I'm like, well, what? Like, I've told my son, what are you scared of? If you're scared of it, be scared of it. There's nothing wrong with being scared of it. Why are you scared of it? I'm scared it's going to bite me. You should be scared of a black bear running at you. That's a natural fear to have.
See, I am not the person to really confront my fears because I hate spiders. I'm not going to jump in a bucket of spiders.
I don't fuck with roaches. So I feel you.
Okay, so like I told you earlier, no two perceptions are the same.
Uh-huh.
So my perception of that doll sitting over there is going to be different than your perception of that doll sitting over there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the past I've said, screw dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot them, burn them, whatever. I hate dolls.
You shouldn't, because that's weird.
Well,
some people do.
Screw them, I mean. You can shoot them all you want.
But because you have a different perception on that side as far as like your monsters or aliens or the dolls, like you don't have the perception of being scared of it, right?
No.
So to you, this is just something that you're interested in. But to somebody else that has a perception of things like that are scary.
Annabelle? Yeah, something you picture Annabelle because that's a go-to, that's a doll that's possessed.
Right. So perception's everything.
Well, so what do you see when you see that doll, Dale?
I see.
It's a doll head.
It's
a doll head.
It's a not disembodied, but is it disembodied? Decapitated doll head, I guess. But it's an antique though. I found it at an antique store.
That's a good question. Is it decapitated
severed,
or disembodied?
Disembodied.
Because a body could be decapitated.
Disembodied doll head?
Disembodied? I don't know.
Severed doll head? Anyway, yeah. It's an antique doll head. I looked it up. It's actually from like the early 40s. And I don't know. I find it very, very interesting.
What do you see, Rachel?
Nowadays, because my outlook on things, my perception on things are, like I said, always evolving. Like when I see the dolls, I don't get creeped out like I used to. I just see, okay, that's a doll head. If I want to see it as something creepy and whatever, then yeah, I'm going to project that energy onto it. And then my mind's going to go 10 million different ways to creep myself out. But I don't want to manifest that energy. I don't want to put that on that thing. I want something positive now. So I just see it as a doll head that either was broken off or it fell off because of age or whatever from the body, and that's how it is. And so to me, it's all what you put into it. Like, just, do you want to put the negative energy into it, or do you want to put the positive energy into it? I'd rather just put the positive and just go on and just keep experiencing.
Yeah.
We were talking about perception stuff. I want to know what your perception was about.
Yeah, I just see Dale's interest in it all. Like that I perceive all of this in Dale's room. Just this is him, and this is what he likes, what he wants in his life.
Yeah.
Because why would you put things that you don't want in your life into
your space.
A place that into your space? Because that's just counter to that. Just you're just going to create more negativity in your life, more
married,
frustration.
You don't have a choice. Too much.
April, you're awesome.
I honestly don't have homicidal thoughts any more than the average person in traffic.
Well, no, it's just if somebody, but if
yes,
somebody,
you do.
Yeah, I do.
Everybody does.
Put him in the wall a little bit, tap him on the bumper. He'd be alright.
if somebody perceives like, okay, if somebody had the perception like monsters are evil and this and that, aliens are evil, when they walk into your room, they're gonna be like, you're.
Pretty much, you worship the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how they're going to see it as. Like,
saying that. If I walked in from it's partly a joke, but partly true. If I walked in here and be like, why would you paint a room, ceiling and 2 walls red and the opposing 2 walls white or black rather? And then there's skulls encompassing probably 3/4 of a wall. Paintings, airbrushings.
Yeah,
those are airbrushed.
Yeah,
look pretty badass. I like them. I like that one and that one. On one wall, there's a Blackbeard flag. On the other, with a bunch of pirate stuff.
Who gave me the Blackbeard flag?
Is that the one I gave you?
Yeah.
Nice. That was bigger.
That's the one you gave me.
Get a bigger one. No, she didn't. And on the other wall, it's a bunch of sculptures.
Oh yeah, my Clive Barker autographed Tortured Souls set.
That was what I was going to say, but since
Oh.
you said it, I'm glad because I didn't, And an organ, not a piano. Don't call it a piano.
That was inherited.
That's where we're at emotionally. But it's fun.
I think that if you could look from the description of Dell's room, this is where I go with this. Like, over time, over history, certain things have been said, well, if you see this is a representation of evil and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, was that a form of control that was created? If you have...
You see, I don't think so. I think part of what you're saying, if you're going where I think you're going, is fear. It's other people's fear of, I don't understand why you're doing it, so I'm scared of you doing it. For example, like, one of the things I didn't mention is there's probably 4 or 5 books on anatomy in here. And one of them's an artistic one, the other ones are just anatomy books. There's a lot of skulls in here.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at those kind of objectively without knowing anybody, well, dude has a lot of body parts in his house.
Right.
Also, there's books on anatomy.
I also think, too, it's another form of, like, where I say that people will look to other things to make them responsible for how they feel. So, like, if somebody's afraid of something, they'll be like, oh, it's because of this and this. No, it's because you are the one that's feeling that. It's not that thing. You're putting that responsibility on that thing. Like that alien head that's staring at me right now. I could sit there and be like, that thing is making me scared. No, I'm making myself scared of that because it's sculpture. It's a sculpture. So I'm putting that negative energy into that thing, that fearful energy into that thing, and it's like, no, I'm the one that's doing that. Like,
Maybe often it feels like I've never sculpted an alien.
then
Fuck it, we're up.
but that's
And
also how I see a lot of things that people put labels to, and it's like, okay, really, was that created for control, to control the masses through fear, or was that somebody's perception of something fearful, and so they made that belief so believable that it made other people believe it when those other people didn't believe the same thing. But because sometimes people get that sheeple mentality that they are too afraid to take responsibility for their own emotions, that they're just like, oh yes, totally, I'm totally with him. I don't want to look within myself and see that I created that own fear or whatever emotion.
It's a crazy way to look at it.
This turned into a psychology session for me.
You need help, Dale.
Oh, I'm good.
No, you are good. I very much enjoy your art.
Well,
And as much as I give you your room is amazing.
I think we've covered quite a few topics. Well,
Yes.
actually, we covered 3 to be specific, but that's a few. And I hopefully, if you've made it this far without turning us off and deleting your internet, hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any suggestions on topics, go ahead and comment.
And we're going to be on iTunes and
Yeah,
On iTunes and the YouTubes, I believe.
what's it called?
iTunes will probably be later on, but definitely YouTube to start, because that's easy. I've already got a YouTube channel, so
If you have any questions about the podcast, again, the email is artistwipp, artistwipp @gmail.com. My name's Tubbs. You can find me on Instagram at TubzWorks.
and I'm Dale. You can find me at Tecnicus, TECNICUS_street, Tecnicus Street.
And I'm Rachel, and you can find Tracy and I at HSB Woodworks. Instagram, it's HSB__Woodworks. And we post a lot of videos and pictures of things that we're working on.
Was HSB_Woodworks taken?
I think, no, I don't have to explain myself, okay?
All right. Well, shit. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
We love you. Well, some of you.